This is the 2026 Kia Sportage SX. Is it a trend-setting compact SUV? Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. The exterior color on this Sportage is nebular blue. It has a black interior, and there are a few changes as far as the refresh for 2026 goes. Reworked front and rear bumpers. We're going to have some changes with the headlights and taillights. The graphics are going to change a little bit. I really like what Kia does here because it's not going to be like everything else that you see on the road. You're going to have your LED projector beam headlights, low and high beams. Also, you're going to have the amber daytime running lights right here. We'll work our way over here and show you what that looks like when the turn signal indicator comes on. You'll notice that it's a little bit brighter, so it does have that separation when you use those. Going to have a little bit more of a squared off front end, but it does look nice and sporty. Not a lot of gloss black going on here, especially on this lower area where it really counts the most, but a few different finishes that are going to make it look really nice. There's the Kia badging, and as we work our way around, depending on what you want with the Sportage, all trim levels offer either front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and we're going to have 18-inch wheels. Tell me what you think about this. There are some new wheel designs for 2026. We'll find our fender surround. That will be a gloss finish, but I think that works. It looks really nice, works its way around to the lower portion of the door here, but we have, again, that combination of a couple of different color finishes that really set things off and make it look perfect. Now, turn signal indicators built into your side view mirrors. They're heated, power adjustable. Blind spot monitoring is built in right there. You will have the body colored door handles with your passive entry button right there. That's only on the front doors, should be on the rear as well. That should just be a common thing. Roof rails up top with the panoramic sunroof. There's your shark fin antenna finished in gloss black. That looks nice. Gonna have our rear privacy glass right here. Hopefully the design you have right here shows up on the camera as nice as it does in person. The rear window spoiler is back here, and guess what? No exposed rear window wiper. A very clean look. That doesn't mean that the window wiper isn't here. It's just up in this area right here. And our Kia badging will finish things off here on the rear. LED taillights, and once again you can see that turn signal indicator turned on. Now you won't have any exposed rear exhaust back here. I don't think that's too big of a deal for people. You do have the exhaust pipe coming out underneath the bumper right there, but some people actually like to have those coming out of the rear, just giving it that more sporty look. One thing that will separate the Sportage out from its competitors, at least some competitors, is that you have not only the engine combination that we have under the hood here, which is a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated four-cylinder that puts out 187 horsepower and 178 pounds-feet of torque, made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission, but you can also go with the hybrid version or even the plug-in hybrid. How about your MPGs with this model? We're looking at 25 city, 33 highway, 28 combined, and 3.6 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. 0 to 60 is in about 9 seconds flat. Top speed about 120 miles per hour. And how about your gas tank details? It comes in at 14.3 gallons. You'll have the gas cap here as opposed to capless fuel fill. On a full tank of gas, you should be able to drive about 357 miles in the city and about 472 miles out on the highway. And here is your remote. The buttons are on the side as opposed to being on the face. You're going to have lock, unlock. You'll have the ability to open and close your power tailgate. There's your panic button. And don't worry, remote start is right there. Speaking of that power tailgate, let's open that up real quick and show you something that might be a little bit of a surprise, and that is the fact that it is a power hands-free tailgate on this SX model. How about your towing capacity? Up to 1,653 pounds if you do not have a trailer brake. If you go with the trailer brake, you will find that you can tow up to 2,500 pounds. And something that I know will be very pleasing to a lot of people is the presence of a spare tire that's going to be found here under the floor. You can easily get all of that out of the way if you need to. And we can actually use the levers right here, these releases, to lower our seats down. All you do is pull on those. That's going to maximize your cargo capacity. And speaking of cargo capacity, What exactly can you expect to find back here when it comes to your cargo space? Well, we're looking at 39.6 cubic feet up to 74.1 when you maximize everything out. There is some cargo area lighting only on one side back here, but not a big deal. It'll do a good job. You also have your 12-volt power outlet. We're also going to have our panoramic sunroof. The shade is drawn forward right now, but nice to see that. For those of you that want that panoramic sunroof, this is a good option for you because there is a competitor, the Honda HR-V, that does not offer that. It only offers the conventional size. And let's talk about the back seat. Now, as far as your armrests go, there is a little bit of padding built in. That's nice to have. You're going to have your door bin down there. We'll close the door right here. We're going to find our rear seat pockets. There is the sunroof I told you about earlier, and I only have that open about halfway. You can open it all the way back here if you want to. The front portion will tilt and slide open. You're going to have your USB ports located in the seat backs. Nothing unusual for Kia. That's common across the models of the different Kia models that the brand offers. We also have our rear air conditioning vents. So I know those are two major boxes a lot of you like to check off. We're also going to have some storage space underneath. Another box that a lot of people want to check off. They asked, can you recline the seat backs? Yes, you can. You can lower these back a little bit, or recline them back, I should say, a little bit. You can also bring them up some depending on what your passengers want. They can handle that. You also have the fold-out armrest with the cup holders built in. The sticker price, $35,935. Now, as far as your seats go, both are going to be heated in the front seat area. 3 different stages, as you can see via the buttons right there on the SX trim level. The difference is that the passenger seat is manually adjustable. The driver's seat is power adjustable. It will also have lumbar support, a little bit of a larger armrest, and door bin. As far as these front doors go, the glove box will offer plenty of space. And we'll work our way up here to the upper console. Here's where you're going to manage your power shade and the sunroof. You can see everything else that is here as far as your lights go. You can turn all of that on and off depending on what you need to do right there. A couple of other buttons where that is concerned. Going to have the oh crap handles, by the way, at every door in case the driver drops the hammer on 187 horsepower. You do have seat memory, and you can set the seat to move back and forth depending on if the vehicle is turned on or turned off to make it easier to get in and out. Very nice. And a nice looking setup here as far as the design with the door handle. Nothing unusual as far as its functionality. It just looks a little different, but I like that. Kia doing a nice job with things along those lines. And you're going to have the one touch down front windows, one touch up on the front windows, but you will have to hold the button down to lower and raise the windows here in the rear. Now, one thing that we also have is the power folding side view mirrors. You can fold those by pushing the button right there. And we'll also have things such as the controls for our side view mirrors, lock and unlock, and you can lock the windows if you want to do that. And you can open and close the power tailgate right here. We've got our power parking brake. You're going to have your traction control right there if you want to use that. We can drop the lever right here to adjust the tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel and all of your different steering wheel mounted controls here depending on what you want to do. I do like that you have the drive mode selector right here on the steering wheel as opposed to being maybe down here on the center console. A little bit more driver focused that way. And here are your driving modes. You're going to have normal, sport, and then you also have My Drive, depending on what you want to do. You can also see some of the changes that take place with the driver's display, depending on the mode that you are driving in. Everything over here for our front and rear window wipers on the right-hand side of the steering column. On the left, everything for your headlights and taillights and your turn signal indicators activated right there. Very nice modern look with the curved display right here that you can see that is available with the Sportage for 2026. That's going to look nice. Nice modern look and easy to use. You have your built-in navigation right here. You have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto that are going to be wireless. You can watch YouTube, so you can watch Vehicle Visionary videos, or at least let your passenger do that. But you can do that. It's here, one of those nice little things. And you can see some of the other features and functions that we have. And if you're wondering, where are all of the different icons? We go to Setup, and here's where you're going to find that. And you can see all of your different options here with vehicle, navigation, sound, all of that's going to be here. You can go over here to Vehicle, and see a few more things depending on what you need to do. You got driver assistance, that's going to be here. Everybody wants to know what we have going on where that is concerned. We'll show you a little bit of what we have as far as that goes. We can come in here into lights, make some changes there depending on what you need to do. There are so many neat little features here that you might say, wait a minute, that's a Kia? That's right, quite a bit going on. We've got lights right there. Once again, if you want to come into that area, a couple of different ways you can do that. We can come back out of that. We can go wherever we need to from here very easily. But just to show you a little bit of what's going on where that is concerned. Now, how about your camera views? Well, there's only one camera view here ultimately as far as the rear view camera goes. You don't have a front view camera or anything like that. But you know what? This camera is going to get the job done for you. You've got all of your great safety features such as lane keeping assist. You've got the parking sensors. All of that's going to be here and work very well. And I like the fact that we have some physical controls here. We have everything for the radio right here. You've got some of the buttons, or I should say just areas where you can select. If I want to go home, I can just touch right there. We can go to map right here if we want to. Whatever we need to do, we can do that in this area. Just makes things super easy to deal with. We're going to have the wireless charging pad right down there and some USB connectivity. You've got your conventional style shifter that does a very nice job. I know a lot of people don't like the push button style shifters. That's not going to be here. But one thing that's also not here is that shifter that is mounted right here on the steering column in some Kia models. Tell me what you think about that. Some of you might like it, some of you might not. And we'll also have the button to turn the engine on and off right here. We're going to have some other things here such as turning the auto stop start off. We can bring up our camera if we need to right here by pushing that button. As I told you, just that one view as far as that goes. Parking assist right there. Quite a bit going on though. Depending on what you need to do with your cup holders, you can push the buttons right here or you can keep these out of the way. A lot of space right there, a lot of space in this area. The center console lid can be used as an armrest for the front seat passengers. And while there's a good bit in here, there is a decent amount of space within the center console. All right, here we go on the test drive. Let's see how the Sportage does as we cruise down the road. Seems to have a pretty nice ride quality. That shouldn't be a big surprise for an SUV of this size. It does have a little bit longer wheelbase, not as short as some competitors, so you're not going to have that choppy ride feeling going on with that. The seats themselves are comfortable, and I actually like the fact that you have a nice amount of bolstering in these front seats. Not that anyone's going to go flying around the corners with their Sportage, but you just never know. It gets down the road just fine. 187 horsepower is actually a reasonable amount considering some competitors out there that have far less. That's a good thing. And something that's just unusual that sets it apart, but it's not a bad thing, it's not distracting, is the design of the steering wheel. I like that. It's just something that's a little bit different, not totally round. That flat bottom is here, a little bit more of a flat top, not completely, but it's not as round as some out there. And a very versatile vehicle for those of you that are saying, Tom, I live in an environment where we get lots of snow and ice throughout the year. I need all-wheel drive. As I mentioned earlier in the video, you have that option with every single version of the Sportage. Now we're going to make our quick little turn here. It should come as no surprise that you have a nice tight turning radius. It's not a hot rod, but you know what? It gets up to speed without any trouble. I'm just kind of cruising down the road here, not even to half throttle, so not a big deal where that's concerned. The technology is nice and easy to learn and use. I like that it has a modern look to it. Modern looks don't mean complicated. That's always a good thing with any vehicle, and Kia seems to do a good job of balancing those two things out quite nicely. The gas pedal and brake pedal, very manageable, easy to adjust to. And obviously for those of you that are saying, Tom, I don't want a turbocharged engine, this is another thing that's going to be a great option for you because you're not going to have that here. And for all that you get, a lot of features for less than $36,000, you're still pretty far under the average in the United States of America as of 2026, which is $50,000 for a new vehicle. And there it is, the 2026 Kia Sportage SX, a trend-setting compact SUV. Tell me what you think down in the comments section. Now, I didn't borrow this from a dealership. This actually belongs to a personal friend of mine. A special thanks to my friend Bobby for letting me review this and tell you all about it in today's video. He always does that with his vehicles. I'm hoping he'll buy a supercar in the near future, because then we can do that. I'd like to say a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful and appreciated. Make sure to subscribe and share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. And if you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I'll see you there.